Good morning, everybody. We are so excited to show you the new version. For those that have been here, in the last couple months, you've basically your information to us of, hey, how do we do this, or how do we do that, or could we do this, has really kind of helped us catapult different areas of the software. You're going to see, as you always see, if you keep up with just looking at the screens and things like that, you see the new changes. We really appreciate the input we get from you guys because that's what we use to make this software better and better. If we can make your searches easier, that's the total goal. My name is Sean Mars, for those that don't know me. I am here with Julie, and we are here to kind of show you this. Today is going to be showing you the new features of the program, really kind of looking at the advanced version of the software, which is the gold version. The free version, as it always will be free. It does not have all the features, and just for those that are even asking, we do offer 75% off of the professional gold version, which is it's just under $2,000. It's $19.90, so it's about $500 a year for the gold version. And when you see the features and you see how this program has changed, the power. We are trying to save you time. We are trying to save you the research time and the ability to get back into there and go, I need to talk to them. I need to look at this. I need to connect with these people. This is what this program is all about. So I'm super excited. Questions, if you can, put them in the chat right away. Q&A. The Q&A, and put them in the Q&A right away, and Julie will be shouting those out. I'm going to try to keep this under 45 minutes because I know you guys are busy. I know you have things to do. And I'm really, really excited to show you the new features of what has been changed even since last month. For those that need a basic review of what the software does, there are two links now from last month and the month before of the overview of the software and how to use it. So we're not going to go over how to basically use the software. I know there's some on the group that wanted to see, well, how do I use this? I'm a first-time user. There are videos out there, but I want to show you these really, really cool features because I think you're going to say, I need to see this and I need to actually try this. And the best part is too, we give you half a month to even try this. And if you want to demo the gold version, you can try for half a month. And if it's not your cup of tea, that's fine. And just cancel the demo. And but I really think that if you can't raise $500 in a year, that's then we need to work harder on making the program more incredible. But here we're going to go ahead and start this. Here I'm going to start in a place a little bit different than I did last week. I know we talked about, and as I'm talking to charities and I'm talking about fundraising, from small little charities to charities that are raising $100 million, the number one thing that everyone talks about is, how do I get connected to that charity? How do I get connected to that nonprofit? That whether it's a board member, I mean, those people have input on or even larger foundations. Some can personally give. They can choose $10,000 to give to whatever charities that they really they find interesting. So it really is who you know. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into our connections module. So if you've never played with this or didn't have an idea what this is, I want you to understand how powerful this is, and we've added some features to it. So I'm going to kind of rip through this first. Yes, this so everything we're talking about today is part of the gold version, and that way you can you see what it's going to do, you have an idea what it's going to do, and also we are recording this so you can go back and review this. If it's you don't have to take notes, just enjoy the show. And I do talk fast, so I apologize right now. The first thing I want to do is let me clear my contacts so we can go and get a fresh set of data. All right, so the big thing in connections is, who do you know in the charity world that's going to connect you to sit down and have a conversation with somebody that's either knows a lot of nonprofit, not a lot of foundations and grant givers, or has connections in the industry. And I'm going to go through a couple things right off the bat, that when you log into the connections module, the first thing it does is it goes through and it actually maps your own foundation. So it kind of shows, so in the center, we have the Mars, and I'm using this as an example for the Mars Family Foundation. Our Mars Family Foundation has 3 board members. Those board members are also part of other entities in the network. And this creates, and you're seeing the cross lines. These are cross lines of connections. So this person knows this person, this person knows this person. These are all first connections. So when you're thinking about LinkedIn, you're thinking about how do we get connected with people? I'm going to walk you through this. So let's say you have your board members and you see your listing in your fields here, and you can do 2 ways. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to enter a person's name. I'm going to enter a name of Jeff Billings, and the reason why I use Jeff is that he's highly connected in the charity industry, in the charity world, but it's very, very difficult to find this information. It is all public data. We do not deal with any private data. We do not scrape private anything. I don't want to know about your house value. I don't want to know how you give to political aspects. We don't do that. It's not part of what we do. We only deal with IRS public data. So everything I'm going to show you today is public. You can download 100 million XML files from the government, and it's all free. You can absolutely do that, or you can use a program that already does it for you. So what I want to show you now in a half a second, when you add a person. So let's say we're adding Jeff Billings in Wisconsin. So instantly, I know from this person how many areas they're connected in. So not only does it show the nonprofits that the person's connected in, it also shows you their map. Now here's what is really interesting, and here's what gets fun. One person, so I'm showing you one person and how they're connected in the charity world. They're in the center. On the outsides is another charity or foundation. So that's how they're connected to, this person is connected to every charity and foundation, and all the inner lines is the connections. So even Milwaukee, which I call Smilwaukee, we are literally all connected in a certain dimension of 1 step, 2 step. It's amazing how people know people, and this is what this is all about. So in this connections here, I'm going to show you something. So that is one person being connected in my network. So what that ends up doing is, let's go back into, this is called the executive report. And what this ends up doing is it goes through, it'll, if you're going to sit down with coffee with somebody, you can do an executive report on them. It not only shows every, foundation and nonprofit, it also goes through in detail in the pages below it. I think this is like 20 something pages of all the grants that were given, the top grants for the year, how much they do give, what their area of emphasis is. And it's a great report to have background information on someone if you're going to sit down with them. So I'm going to move and close this. So now we just added one person. Wouldn't it be awesome if you could take, and what I basically did is I took Facebook and some LinkedIn people, and I created a list. So what we're talking about from a list is a contact list. It is an Excel spreadsheet. It has a first name. It has a last name. It has a state. And if you know their zip code, that's great, because we're gonna find them by a radius. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to enter have the contact list, and it's about 100 people on my contact list. So my radius is how far from their zip code. If you don't enter a zip code, it'll use your zip code. So let's say your charity is based in Milwaukee. It will do a radius of 75 miles. You can choose the radius 50 miles, 75 miles, 100 miles, etc. to choose how big of a circle are you defining that person. So when you have a person's name, it's all based on the, if they're key members of a nonprofit, of a grant giving nonprofit or any nonprofit in the entire United States. So we're choosing by state and we're choosing by radius. So now on this, I'm going to test these contacts, and out of 100, in a half a second, I now know that out of the 100, 48 contacts had 990 matches. So that means they were part of 114 nonprofit organizations. Now think about this. your contact lists. These could be your volunteers. These could be your friends. These could be people you meet in the charity industry. You get their card. You get to know them. You say, hey, if you ever, and they always said, if you ever need anything, let me know. And what this is doing is you want to sit down and have a cup of coffee with someone, tea, coffee, soda. And what's great about it is you need these connections mean everything in the charity world. So what I'm saying also is, so what we're doing immediately is it goes through your list and also takes 52 and they skip them. And skipped means they were not included in the public IRS data. They were completely thrown out in the scan of your own file and they were removed. So that way it's all still in your system is public data. Everything you put into your account is yours. It is not shared with anyone. It is your information. But at the end of the day, it's public information that you're mapping in your program. So I hope that that kind of covers. It is absolutely public data. It is amazing because now let's see what that means. So remember, when we talked about our small little network here, I added 52 people. And within that network, it gets a little larger. And I want you to enjoy this here because what that meant, and literally these are, and I took Facebook and LinkedIn and just people I knew that would be connections, and look at my network. Imagine for your charities, the ones that say, well, I don't have anybody, I don't know how to even sit down with coffee with someone, I have no idea how to get to that foundation. This is how you do it. This is how you get connected. And I'm going to walk you through this on an exact example in the screen here. So when you see your foundation, your network is in your nonprofit is in the middle, then your board members, and then all the people you know cross-reference with all of their board members. So this is where it gets kind of crazy and a lot of fun. Next thing, once you have that, the new filters we added to the program in categories, or you can do it by a keyword, just like the mission field. You can do a mission search or keyword search. Today, we're going to look at the arts. So in the arts, we're going to see that of my connected people, all of these foundations give to the arts, which is really kind of cool because especially when you can say gives to the arts and they give a minimum grant size, you can kind of define that so you know where you're looking and who's in your network. But what's great about that is, so that crazy graph went down to this graph. These are people out of my simple network that I now have that are directly connected to grant givers that give to the arts. So let's take a look at them. And I'm literally going to grab the first one. We've got the United Performing Arts. They look like a major funder in the arts. Well, let's take a look at them. So when you're going into the new, so this is what we call the detail page of any foundation, any nonprofit. It has been updated for those that haven't played with this yet. We are very proud to say that we are absolutely using all categories, and we have cross-referenced every grant, every category in every field. So we're basically over 20 million grants we've reclassified to what they are. It has given us complete amazing searchability. It's also giving us things like this where we can instantly show where are they giving their grants. You can see their insights. You can see where is this foundation giving money back into. And so this is kind of a breakdown before you start seeing all of the expense breakdowns and everything like that. But let's get even more fun. I'm going to go to the tab we call, you got your financials, which is normal. And this is, and if anyone wants to review this, go back to our basic overview. It will go through every tab, goes through the details. But I'm going to go through the fun ones. So when we go into here, the big thing that has majorly changed is the grants now give a grant giving breakdown. What I love about the grant giving breakdown is it shows what categories they give to. And when you click on them, it gives more information. We are now using the median and not the average. for your grant, typical grant. So your typical grant size using the median is a certain dollar amount. It will still show you the average. It'll still show you a range of what they have given, but that's in basically every category. So you instantly know, what is this foundation giving to? What is their priority? And I think this is fantastic when you're entering your grant information and you're entering a LOI or you're doing some your grant application itself. So this is super, super powerful. And I'm going to go to something that if we were just talking about contribution, or I'm sorry, we're just talking about connections. Connections, why are they important? Let's say you're looking for the arts, you want to raise money, and you go, United Performing Arts Fund. They look perfect. And it's like, but how do I get to them? I'm like, you can look at the board members. You can say, hey, on these board members, do I know anybody? You can use, we do have the ability to click LinkedIn. Are you linked into these board members? But here's where the contacts and the connections are incredible. So automatically within the program, it also tells you this. It tells you your first connections and your second connections. And so a first connection is a person you personally know in your connection in your contacts list that you just put in on my Excel spreadsheet, that there actually serves on the board at the United Performing Arts, or this is even more fun, it's a one-off. So my friend Kurt also serves on the Metropolitan Milwaukee Association of Commerce with Scott. Scott serves on the board of the United Performing Arts Fund. It is a one-off because I would literally ask, Kurt, can you get me a meeting with Scott? And Kurt is your contact. Scott is his friend because their contact through knowing each other through the boards. And that for us is, we feel that is a really, really decent and really, really fast way to know, can I at least sit down and have coffee with somebody? And chances are a lot will based on a reference. Asking somebody blindly, will you have coffee with me? Very difficult. But if someone asks as a reference, as a friend, chances are very, very good that they will meet with you. All right, so now we're going to move on to, try to keep this on time, Julie. Okay, I know she gave me the look. All right.
1 minute.
1 minute, okay. So now we're going to go to OTR.
Can you just give a reminder?
Yes, for those that did join the meeting a little later, if you have any questions whatsoever, put them in the Q&A and she will answer the quick ones she can. And the ones that you have questions with afterwards, that when the meeting of what we're showing you is over, then we'll go over those questions, okay? The next thing I want to show you is, because now that you're finding you have connections, let's look at funding. So now let's look at the new 990 search screen. So I'm extremely happy and proud with this because I think the layout is so much cleaner. I think the power of the screen is 10 times what it used to be. And I'll show you why. The main fields that you're used to, the grant givers by state, that's normal. You got your financial filters, so you can do the assets, the grants, and the grants minimum, the grants average. But here's where it gets really fun. In the gold version, we also have categories. So what's amazing about this is because we have categorized every 18 million grants, we now know backwards who gives those grants, how much they give, the average and everything about them. So now when we've talked in the past about categories, and it wasn't real powerful because it was based off the code that literally just the grant giver has or the charity has. We have completely revamped that. So what's exciting about this is you can choose different categories, and that allows you to do different things within the program. So what's amazing is that you can choose a category and you can choose a specific. You can just say, I just want wildlife preservation, or you want the entire group. And what also that does is it creates subcategories. So now you can say the number of grants in the category, how much is given in that category. And then you can also start doing have they been given the last 3 years, the last 5 years? And then also we added population. So if you give to children and if your clients are children and youth, if they're the homeless, they're seniors, they're students, this also is a whole different category that helps you find specific funding for what you do. And the last one is also a organization type. So you can choose if you're a school or a hospital or an animal organization or the arts or environmental. So this whole filters area is very, very powerful, but I'm going to show you something even better. So let's close that. And for those that have played with this yet, I would hope that, and this is Doris, this is for you, that have played with this top part. Let CharityEZ help you find grant money. This is our way of sitting next to you and saying, what do you do? How are we going to find grants together? We will keep on enhancing this. This is our first version of Julie sitting next to you and saying, this is how we're going to find you money. And let me show you this because this is so exciting. When you go into the Let CharityEZ help you find grant money, we now have a bunch of questions like who gives grants in my local area? So let's say you're new to the program. You want to say that I really have never done this before, but can you walk me through it? This is what it does. So not only does it already know who you are, what counties you're in, it highlights the fields you need. It will show you the guided question of who gives in my local area. You literally press go. And what's amazing about that is it does that for every question. So you say, so it starts small, it gets bigger. Who gives grants in my state? Exciting. Who gives grants to smaller first-time grants? So we're going, and it basically goes in, it shows you the fields that this entire idea was based on, and you don't have to guess. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to go into something that is let's see, who funds nonprofits like ours? Let's do this one just because it does it a little different. So let's find the who funds nonprofits like ours. So I'm going to make this specific. So let's go into Wisconsin. Let's go into Milwaukee County. And I'm going to say, how about kids with cancer? Huh? And so we have the fields that are highlighted. We have an idea of what we need. I got to choose. I'm sorry. Let's go into here. So you can, and what's nice about this too is every one of these is nationwide. So it doesn't matter what state you're in. It has all the counties and everything you need. And then, so what we're going to basically do is off of that, find grant givers. We also added this here. So as you're building your search, it's telling you exactly what it's doing. This is brand new in this version. Searching for grant givers, Wisconsin, Milwaukee County related to kids with cancer. Let's go. And so now we're searching a lot of data. And here's what's really neat about this. And this is brand new if you haven't seen this yet in the search. Immediately, it's going to show you what are their categories of how they give. And this is instant in the area of the results because you don't even have to go into every one of these to see what are their top 5 categories. And what's awesome about that is you can go into each one of these and you can see what are their categories, how are they giving, and you'll see in some of the other questions when I get into categories, why is this important? But what I'm going to jump into here is that I'm literally going to grab the first one. And what's nice about this is it does the same thing we were talking about before when we're saying that when we have, we're doing our connections, we're doing how do we find somebody that, it looks great, they give to our state, they're solid for, where, maybe we're looking for youth development, which is, what we're looking at this time, maybe it's the arts and you go, if you're an art, somebody that's part of the arts. But here's where it gets really kind of cool. We talked about connections, and I only literally added almost 50 connections. And this is completely, I didn't do this on purpose. I picked the first one and I did it this morning. I'm like, this is incredible. And I have a connection. And so what's great about this is with Kurt being connected to the Metropolitan Milwaukee Association of Commerce, with Andy, I literally have a first connection. And I hope you are starting to see, like, why is this important with these connections? This is everything. This is, this is my way of, hey, Kurt, I'd love to have sit down with Andy and have a cup of coffee. Um, and and that was, that's what just makes it so much more fun. While you're in there also, you can, as you're reviewing the foundations, one thing that's in the main listing also, and I talked about this last time, but I just love this so much because we have project lists and we have a way to track if you saw this, what do you do with it? If you saw this, what do you do with it? And now we have the ability to add, this one needs further review. So as you're reviewing things, you're marking down what do I have to remember? Because then when you go into the project list module, it will show you what you have to do. And I know different people use this for different reasons. You can specify a person's name. They have to review these. You can specify, I'm looking for, and we did this for the zoo, I'm looking for animal care and this. So somebody that's working on those grants specifically looks at that information. This is completely customizable. You can add as many as you want. And what's amazing about it is when you get into the project page, you filter by that information. So it could be a person, it could be a grouping of these are to the arts, or these are to, and so, if you're a grant researcher, they know that in the state of Wisconsin, in Milwaukee County, these are the foundations that I like to offer as the arts, or even some other category. So that's what's really kind of fun. The other one I absolutely love is do not review again, because if you look at it and you say, well, unfortunately, they don't give to Milwaukee County. Well, you don't need to review them again if you're in Milwaukee County. And what's nice is every time you search and every screen that brings up a foundation, it will still show you do not review, and they'll tell you, basically why you have that in there. And so you'll see that do not review, and you say, let's go back, and so do not review with the reason, does not give to Milwaukee County, and you also have that list is absolutely customizable. So that's what's really powerful about that. I am going to show you some of these other fun ones. So now let's say you're looking for, and you're going, oh my gosh, these foundations, and one thing I forgot to show you is that view grants given. As you're looking through these, we have a much better reason of why the grants were coming back, why they're a lot more specific. Before, I think with our searches, they weren't giving as specific information as now. Very, very powerful. So at least you know exactly why this is coming back. So when we see, why the grants are coming back, why did this foundation or grant giver come back with certain things, it's the reason it's highlighted. So it kind of gives you an idea of, oh my gosh, this is really good for us, and this is good for what I want to do. But here's something that was not in last version that is in this version, is load search and save search. So let's say you have half an hour. You want to come in here and you want to do your research. You go, oh my gosh, this search is awesome, and I want to be able to start again where I left off. So all you have to do is hit save search. It will remember grant givers in Wisconsin, Milwaukee County related to kids with cancer. You can rename this anything you want. It will give you what you currently were searching for. So if you wanted to say, I need Doris to follow up on this, when she goes into here, she'll be able to see this is the search I want her to look at. So if somebody preloads your search, if you have a researcher or you have a grant researcher that's going to help you finding grants, but we are trying to make this so powerful that you can do this yourself, and really want to, if you're newer, then that way you can go in and you can save your searches that you find are very valuable. So even when you go in, I'm gonna leave the screen. I'm going to show you real quick of what project lists look like. So now, as we're talking about all the all the different groups, we can now say, we want to see what group and what one section is basically for review for that for different people. So I'm going to go back into the 990 search screen, pretend this is the next day. I'm going to say, oh shoot, where was I? I was right here. I hit load. It successfully loads it. And boom, I'm ready to go. I hit search. and it goes right back into where I was finding foundations. Now, sometimes you may find you go, oh wow, it was 25 foundations last time, and now it's 30 foundations. Like, why would it be different? We do update our data every month. So you will find that as the IRS releases their information, we also update that. So if you see a number and goes, well, it was 25 last time and now it's 30, it's because we do update the data and we're updating the grants and we're making the system better and better. And that's why you may have a differentiation of numbers. But that's the exciting part. This is always new. This is always fresh. And we are trying to give you the best data available. I am going to look at Julie and say we are at 10:32. And what else would you like to do? You want to answer a couple questions? Does anyone have questions on, actually hold on. I do want to show you a couple things. So we were talking about some, especially going through the top here of this is huge. And if and also as you guys start using this, if you guys come up with some questions of, wow, I thought about this one, if you could kind of incorporate in there, would help my users, because all your users that go into the program, they will get this, they'll get the same questions, and you'll be able to, obviously save the different searches. But we're trying to make this like Julie sitting next to you, and we will keep on enhancing this, and I think it's gonna be absolutely amazing. So some of the big things that you might want to make sure you see is who repeatedly funds in my category. I know with COVID, everyone talks about, well, it wasn't the same 10 years ago as it was 8 years ago, as it 5 years ago. And what's nice is the things change in the program as you need them. So let's say we're doing the grants in the categories. What's nice is it shows you how many grants have they given, and then you can also say how and how long. So we could say a number of grants in the last 3 years, in the last 5 years. If you want to get really aggressive, you can go 100. Depends on how aggressive you want to be in certain categories. But what's awesome about that is you can define what you want to see. You can make it as hard, as narrow a search as you want, or as broad, to start looking at different foundations and looking at different ways to raise money. Some of the other ones I find extremely valuable is always the who funds outside my state is valuable because it may be a foundation that was based in Wisconsin, still gives to Wisconsin. So I think that's important, and it's right here, include out-of-state givers. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It depends on what they currently are funding. But what's great is with the grants when you look at the foundation itself, on the grants page, you'll see the map. If they give one to Wisconsin and they give everything else to Texas, I don't know if I'd waste the time. But if they give the majority to Wisconsin and spots here and there, it is worth your time. And they were probably based out of Milwaukee or based out of Wisconsin, and they just moved to a nicer state because the weather is better. I want to go to, yes, go ahead.
Did you also want to show them?
Oh, I'm sorry. That's what I was supposed to start with. Yes, I will show you. So go through these questions. I think you're going to find this intriguing. The reason why we did it this way, I wanted you to be in the mindset of what were we thinking when we put these fields on the screen? Why is this one important? And when you start clicking on the questions, you'll see the combinations of information it's asking for. It's totally going to make sense. So here's so that's what's really important. The other thing I want to show you too is as you go in and you choose categories, and let's say you're choosing something in here, if you start choosing, you also want to put in a project or mission. So let's say kids with cancer. What it's going to do is when you start searching for a mission or a project, it will close the advanced filters. It's using a completely different database because now we are searching two completely different ways. I'm trying to give you power from the entire back end of all the grants, and I'm also giving you power from the front end of what everyone's giving to. So this is not only using AI and searchability for phrasing, but it's also using complete statistics on the back end. And we call that data mining, which I love so much. So that's why you can do one or the other. If you try to mix it, it's not going to allow you to, but also we want to give you the best data set available. All right, one thing I'm going to go to here is the main menu. And in here, You'll see on the top that we now have your nonprofit logo. You also have the person that has the account. So you can have multiple licensed users, and multiple licensed users will have the circle because that's your person. And the logo of the nonprofit is in the top also. So excuse me, when you want to edit your logo itself, there's a field on the left called My Account. And in My Account goes through all your detailed information about your charity, but it also has a logo. So you can delete the logo, you can upload a new logo. You can also, if you haven't set up your background check account, you can also do that in this page here. This gives you more information on if you start using youcangiveback.com. It's also feeding that information. So the details page, I would highly suggest put in your mission statement that you want other people to see in the public of what people are finding about you. Because right now, youcangiveback.com is live, and you're basically feeding that information. It's nationwide. And if people are looking for charities in this area, if people are looking for volunteerism, they're looking to donate, you guys might have a Christmas list. That's what youcangiveback.com does. And if you look at our last video from last month, we go into detail on the needs module. So that will kind of tell you exactly what is youcangiveback.com. It's totally free. It is a great way for you guys to get funding and also get volunteers and also have your wish lists fulfilled. So that's what this page is for also. And I'm going to save this out here. And the other way you can, so that was for the logo. If you want to edit your person that's logged in,
Will that also change how people will find you if they do a 990 search?
if people do a 990 search on your data, that comes from the government. So that is it. What we do is we use a combination of your main information from the government, and then your additional information like your mission and your other, those override that, because you can edit your own mission statement and your own address information in there so people can contact you. And we're also going to be enhancing that where you can enter a let's say an annual statement. You want to have you want to put PDFs of about you, because we're going to be adding that. So what I suggest is we will continue, keep on coming to our meetings. Let us know if you would like us to add specific fields to when foundations are looking for you in the 990 search. What do you want them to find? Because right now, if you have a postcard, if you look up yourself, and I highly suggest this, look up yourself in the 990 search. If you only give a postcard information, and basically it's very, very basic, foundations, if they start researching you, and they always do, we research every single foundation or every charity we give to, you want to be able to show them as much information as you possibly can. And your accountants gives very basic information if you're under a certain threshold of $50,000, I think it's $50,000 or less in assets. So we will be enhancing that for both youcangiveback.com and the 990 search, but that would be your personal information. Financials and all that, that is solid. That is from your accountant to the IRS to us. We report exactly what the 990 shows. Is that good?
Yep.
And in here, you can also do edit account for your person. And so what you so each person will have details. You can, the same thing, you delete photo, and that's this photo right up here. The other way that you can add a photo is under licensed users. As you add a new licensed user and you enter their information, you can upload their photo here. One thing I didn't mention that I should is that under our passwords now, you can use phrases. I love phrases, especially if they can have a space. Much, much easier to use, highly secure. It's very difficult to break a password that is actually a sentence. And you can say, I love to give, get rid of this, give back. And what it's basically doing is it's showing you how strong is your password. And it needs one character in uppercase. It needs some kind of extra character, special character, which is all the exclamation point, a dollar sign, all that stuff. It will tell you if it goes green if you're good, but it makes it really easy for your passwords because through the system, then you use a phrase instead of a crazy encrypted password. All right. Any questions?
Related to licensed users, is there a limit to the number of users my organization can give access to CharityEZ for the $500 annual fee?
Okay, so
$497.
okay, and that then comes with a it comes with one licensed user. So the gold version does come with one concurrent user. If you do need additional users to that, they can, when you upgrade to gold, you can also choose the number of concurrent users you need. And there's a spinner box when you do your upgrade right here. So you go upgrade your account. And remember, a concurrent user then is two people use it at the same time. They get their own account. And what it ends up doing is on the bottom here, oh, there's I'm already subscription active. It will show a spinner box of if you want to add additional licenses. So that's right on the bottom there.
So do you want to show, this is a perfect example, if they already have a gold account, but they want to add more licensed users? Do you want
Yes,
to change?
Yes, actually, if you have right now, because we're using PayPal, if you're trying to change your plan, you right now, unfortunately, you do have to cancel PayPal's account and then create a new account. And as soon as you cancel PayPal, it will also cancel in the program. So it'll go through the end of the month just like it normally would. And then you would resubscribe with a new on this page itself. It'll change back into a free version, and then you subscribe to a new one. We will be changing our subscription process to a system with a larger bank that we are completely be able to make this a lot easier for you, so you can cancel and add licenses, remove licenses, literally on the fly. And we want to give you more power. And unfortunately, PayPal does not allow us to do that right now.
And is there a limit to how many additional licensed users they can purchase?
There is no limit to additional licensed users. All right.
For our questions, and it's 10:44.
Okay,
So
10. I'm doing great. Okay, so it's 10:44. You guys, seriously, I can't tell you how I appreciate how much work you guys do in the charity world. I love working with you guys. I also love hearing how can we make this better? How can we make this more powerful, more creative, the better? I love, it may seem impossible. I love impossible. I love creating something that will make your life easier. And I'm hoping that this new version will help find funding for you guys big time. And whatever we can do to help you guys, please reach out to us and give us suggestions on what else you'd like to see in the program. We will continue these meetings monthly because this software will continue to evolve and the software will continue to get more and more powerful. And I just love that we can help you guys. So I really appreciate your time. And Julie and I thank you for everything you guys do. So have a great day.